Hi guys, I'm here with my Taipan Veteran long. It's wearing its new clothes, a custom stock from Airguntuning.pl. Before I give you my opinion of this gun stock, let me go over why I felt the need to buy a custom stock in the first place. There are some shortcomings, I think, with the original stock that the Veteran comes with that I feel needed to be improved. First off, my biggest complaint with the original stock is probably how plain it is. Every single stock that comes with the Veteran looks exactly the same. There's really no grain to it, there's no character. It's so generic looking that if I had posted a picture of my gun with this stock on it onto the internet, it would look exactly like 500 different Taipan Veterans out there. And I'm just the type of person that likes to kind of have things a little bit more customized. The second issue is that the original stock has a very short length of pull. It's it fits my 12-year-old son way better than it fits me. I'm your average sized 5'9" male. I'm not a giant by any means, but even I find that the length of pull here, I've really got to throw my shoulder forward quite a ways farther than is comfortable, and an extra inch or two of length of pull would be beneficial. I'm also not a fan of the square forend on the original stock. It's just not comfortable to grip with your hands or to carry in the crook of your arm. The only real benefit to it is it provides a flat surface to attach a bipod, but I don't think I'll miss that feature. Which brings us back to my custom stock. The first improvement is that the gun could no longer be described as plain. The figure and grain on both sides of the rifle are just outstandingly beautiful and give the gun the character it was sorely missing before. First thing you notice is that the length of pull of the custom gun stock versus the standard gun stock is about 1.5 inches longer. Moving up, all the inletting is exactly the same and perfect. The gun fits like a glove until you get to the very, very front, and you'll see even in the front that the gun stock is just a bit longer than the standard one that came with the rifle. So here I've got the two trigger guards lined up with each other, so you can see the custom stock sitting on top of the traditional one. You can see how there's a lot more of an arc here. Perhaps the benefit I'm most excited about is when shooting off of a bag. You'll notice that the butt of the rifle is much more curved underneath here, so I've got lots more leeway on how high or how low I adjust the back of the rifle. When shooting off of the bags here, my hand can go right into this crook of the rifle and pull it right in tight to my shoulder, which is really, really nice. If I need to have a little extra elevation and I'm pinching the bag, there's nothing here hitting my hand and causing me any pain or discomfort. World of difference, vast improvement. I'm super excited about it. The stock is also ergonomically superior to the original. Not only is the forend nice and rounded now, but the grip is stippled, and it's got some nice flat surfaces to rest your hand when shooting offhand. It's actually my second gun stock that I have ordered. The original had two issues with it. First off, I wasn't aware that if you want to have a groove carved into the back so that you would have room to adjust your hammer spring tension, you had to let him know that you needed one of those. And so on the first stock, I took a rasp and I shaved one out. It took me about 10 minutes and put some linseed oil to make the finish match up with everything else, and it was an easy enough fix. On the original stock, the main issue that I had with fit, one was a size issue. I felt like that the grip was a little bit too large, so I had him on this stock shorten it about 1 centimeter shorter even at 1 centimeter shorter, my size medium hands fit the grip just fine, with a little bit of room down here to spare. The more pressing issue or thing that bugged me the most about the last stock I had was that the action did not fit flush in the trigger guard. And as a result, the trigger was actually too far from the bottom of the trigger guard for my liking. I looked back at some of the other pictures of the stocks for Taipan Veterans that he made, and they were all that way. And so when I brought this up to him, he was really surprised that that was an issue, because none of his other customers had ever let him know that that was a problem. And I looked back and I saw at least 2 other gun stocks that he had made where they had that problem, and nobody ever told him. It was like, I guess, a measurement issue. And so for my new gun stock, I let him know that this needed to, the action needed to rest 4 millimeters lower into the trigger guard here, and he made the corrections, and now it's flawless. It's absolutely perfect. The ordering process really couldn't have been more simple. I emailed Michael, who is the person who is Airguntuning.pl, Michal Osyda, and I sent him a picture from his website of this gun stock and asked how much it would cost to have one just like it made for me. He responded in a couple of days' time, and he quoted me a price that I thought was more than fair and reasonable. And so we arranged for me to pay him through PayPal, and he told me he'd have the stock done in 2 to 3 weeks. And my first impression of that was 2 to 3 weeks. I was actually thinking more 2 to 3 months, how long it would take to make a really nice gun stock. Well, 2 weeks went by and I hadn't heard anything. I just kind of wanted to touch base, so I shot him an email reminding him that please send me tracking number when the rifle was done, and he responded that of course he would. Well, a few more weeks went by and I hadn't heard back from him, and so I shot him another email asking for kind of an update on the progress, and he apologized profusely. Like happens to all of us, life had interfered, and so a week later he'd finished the stock and he sent it to me, and I think the total turnaround time was probably about 5 weeks. I gave him the feedback that I just previously mentioned about wanting a groove for the back, and I wanted the how it didn't quite fit the trigger guard, didn't quite fit the receiver, how maybe I'd want the pistol grips stippled and the grip shortened. And so I had him make me another one, this gun stock, for the same price. Wanted an adjustable butt pad. The original wasn't an adjustable butt pad, and he thought he'd get it done in 2 to 3 weeks. Turned out to take about 4 weeks, which I'm not complaining about at all. 4 weeks for the quality of workmanship that I've received is more than I could ask for, particularly the quality of the lumber that he provided me with this rifle. I did not pay extra for a high dollar blank. This is just a run-of-the-mill, make me a nice walnut stock, nothing fancy, not a high grade piece of lumber. And I feel extremely lucky because I feel like I've got a higher grade piece of lumber than just your run-of-the-mill, go to the lumber yard, grab a piece of walnut, and let's make a gun stock out of it. And so there is that chance that you'll have an amazing piece of lumber as well. I wouldn't count on it, but even the last stock I had and all the pictures online of the guns that he's made, they've all been very nicely figured. Knowing what I know now, if I was to order my third stock, I'd order it almost exactly like I have on this one. I would get the grip stippled instead of laser cut. I'd make sure the measurements he used for this gun were the same so that the trigger hole problem would be solved. I'm not sure I'd bother getting the adjustable butt pad. I'm not sure if that's necessary. And I don't know, I think it would be kind of fun to actually finish the gun myself. Maybe I'd have one cut and sanded with like 100 grit paper and then shipped to me, and then I would go through the process of rubbing in the oil and sand finishing it. I think that might be a nice fun touch to do on my own and maybe save me a little money. But again, this was not an expensive gun stock. It looks far more expensive than it was, and I really truly could not be more pleased.